New Yorkers, I find to be very nice.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. It's like this reputation like they're hard or whatever. It's like, no.
Just at the open mics.
Well, like they're just uninterested.
Yeah. Today, we talk about... But yeah, man, give us a rundown like of your comedy come up, when you started, how long ago, where you started, your influences for comedy, all that kind of stuff.
Started in the Bay Area about 8 years ago.
Okay.
It came about as just something to do at night that wasn't going to bars and clubs.
Right.
And now I do bars and different kind of clubs. But in your early 20s, you want to go have fun with your friends. But after a while, it just got old for me.
Yeah.
And then I realized I don't really like going out to this type of an environment. I just like being around my friends.
Right.
So I looked for something else to do in high school, or not in high school, in middle school. They assigned me into an improv class, which is like an elective that I was assigned to. And I was a very shy, timid kid, but all my friends were in it and we had a blast. So it was like that type of comedic performance always stuck with me. And then as I was just being a homebody, I just started going out to comedy clubs, just watching stand-up. I always loved stand-up. And then I found an improv class. Okay. So I just signed up for that as something to do and, improve my personal skills.
Right.
Hey, let's be less shy in front of people.
That's funny that you chose improv to make you do that, because I feel like if you didn't have that skill set, improv would be like the scariest thing you'd want to do.
For me, because I had done a version of improv in middle school.
Oh, okay. Gosh, you weren't as scared of it.
Yeah, I had a positive attachment.
Gotcha.
And then from that, improv was fun, but just hanging out with improv people wore on me a little bit because they never knew how to turn it off. Constantly be games and just after another.
So that would be like me doing this.
Exactly.
Forever.
A lot of times stand-ups can be like that as well.
Yeah.
But then you can just walk away from them, as opposed to like if you're part of a team, you need them.
I see.
And then in performance, I was selfish because I wanted all the
spotlight
for myself. Yeah. Exactly. And so there was a stand-up class, which there is a negative connotation when you take a stand-up class. But I didn't know how to do stand-up, and like the idea of going to a bar and just performing was terrifying.
Scary, yeah.
So I just took the class, not exactly knowing what I was getting, and then they don't really teach you how to be funny either. I think that's one of the exceptions of
shit.
of a stand-up class is, I thought that we're gonna help me write jokes, but like after the first 4 courses, they just go into like the history of stand-up.
Oh, really?
There's
a fucking ripoff.
There is some good value to it.
Listen, I love the history of stand-up, but I'm not taking a fucking class for that. Are you serious?
But also what they teach you is a certain stage presence, moving the mic to the back, not having anything between you and the audience, moving the stool, that stuff.
But aren't these all stylistic choices?
They can be, but like when you see an open micer has the microphone and the stool kind of positioned in front of them as a barrier to the audience, it's like a little bit more noticeable.
Okay.
They teach you, some professionalism, like don't run the light. So that's something that's always stuck with me. It's like I get out, I just do my time.
Yeah.
Like I don't dare to go over.
You're not an asshole. Got it. Yeah.
I'm very respectful of the light. Teaches you not to play with the cord because that's a sign of nervousness.
Oh, I remember doing that hardcore. Someone called me out like, dude, stop coiling the cord.
Yeah, everybody does that.
Yeah.
And now like I still have nervous tics. It's like I hold the mic like this, or I don't know. I still don't know what to do with my hands because I'm not a very...
Because you're related to Will Ferrell. Yeah. Okay.
Like I don't gesture so much.
Okay.
So there was some value to that, and it's a very sheltered environment. But
encouraging, right? Yeah. Because everyone's there for the same reason you're there.
Everybody's there for the same reason, and then after a month's time, you get to go perform stand up in front of like a live audience, but it's a very sheltered audience. So,
is this not talk again?
Hello.
Okay, I'm pretty sure that was filming, but maybe it wasn't. I don't know because. That's the weirdest thing. Sorry. All right. Continue.
Yeah. So you get to perform in front of a sheltered audience. It's like they know that it's kind of like your first time performing. So they're not as judgmental. They're not expecting Chris Rock level of
right.
So my first time doing it, I did 3 minutes. I did well enough, and I just continued to keep doing it. And then after a while, just doing it in the Bay Areas, there's only like a handful of comedy clubs that you can get into and pass that. And then after that, it's like, where do you go from there?
And this was over how many years?
I mean, I got passed at all the comedy clubs after about 5 or 6 years.
Oh, okay.
It's like just hosting, and then one club let me feature. And then there were some other clubs out a little bit further. So if you're familiar with the Bay Area, it's like there's San Jose, and then an hour away is Oakland and San Francisco. And then if you want to make the drive to Sacramento, that's 2 hours away. And there's another one that's kind of like 40 minutes to the side.
Okay.
It's called Tommy T's. I never try to put as much effort into getting into like the other clubs. I just hit up the main ones in San Jose and San Francisco.
Just because of distance, or
distance, and then for me, it was more kind of I looked at the type of headliners who would come through certain clubs. It's like, who would I want to work with?
Got it.
You know, and so I was a little bit more judicious with my time. And after 6 years, 7 years, is like, what am I hang out in the Bay Area for? It's like I can only go so far, and so I just made the move to New York, and now I've been here for about a year.
Got it.
And it's been so hard.
Yeah, it's a different beast out here, man.
It's just a bigger beast.
Well, I think it's also different though, because, and give me your thoughts on this, but as far as like the kinds of things that make people laugh here are not similar to what could make people laugh out in the Bay Area versus, I'm out in Iowa, I'm sensing different sensibilities for humor out there too. So.
Yes. Every audience has its own sensibilities for sure. Even within the Bay Area, like the same crowd in San Francisco is very different than Oakland, than Sacramento, than San Jose. But I think generally speaking, funny translates, if
it's a good enough joke.
If it's a good enough joke, if it's undeniable,
right.
then people will laugh. And then if people like you up front, I think that goes a long way
for
too.
Sure.
It's like, it's this unknown thing that causes a mental block for people. It's like, you have to really just get to them.
Right. But yeah, I mean, so let me clarify too then. What I meant more so is like, you could, because like you said, it's very hard once you got to New York, but like you could have found things that you realized weren't undeniably funny, or you didn't realize that until you got here. Whereas out there, maybe those somewhat funnies were working, whereas here they just nothing.
No. Like the hard part in New York is just, I have to start over. So I put, about 7-8 years into stand up in the Bay Area, and it means nothing out here. So I go out here and
in terms of like your reputation, you mean?
Right. Okay. So like out in the Bay Area, I was featuring at clubs, and then out here, I'm back to open micing.
Right.
So that's the difficulty, is reestablishing myself, getting to know people, and then getting other comedians to trust me, to book me on their shows.
Right.
Getting club bookers to know me, see me. And then I'm competing against just everybody else who has
like me,
who has years and years of just not notoriety in that they're famous, but like people know them. In terms of like, oh, I know you're familiar,
right?
So I trust you, as opposed to like just a newcomer.
Who's this fucker from the Bay Area? I don't know this guy.
Exactly. So like, but in terms of like just funniness, it's like no, that's not the hard part. It's like I'm confident that I'm funny.
Okay. Now, don't you think then that because you're right, like the 6 years you put in is not going to translate in terms of reputation, but it should translate in terms of, okay, I'm going to be able to establish quicker than someone who just started here.
Sure, absolutely.
Versus having the 6 years background to be like, hey,
Exactly.
You haven't found that to be the case as far as like how much quicker you get booked at a show or do a show or whatever?
No. Just because there's so many talented people out here that have relationships with other people that are on the pecking order.
Got it.
So like I can go and do a show, people think I'm funny, but like they have their friends that they got to take care of, or they have business associates they make. It's like, hey, this person can do something for me. Why would I put up this Bay Area guy who's funny and I like him, but I don't know him and I don't owe him anything.
So let me get your take on this then. because one thing I'm realizing about this place, more so than any other place, is the number of shows, comedy shows that are put on.
Right.
And like people are not only hosting open mics, but they're like hosting actual, putting together shows. Not even showcases, just like, hey, come to my Lost Dog comedy show every second Tuesday of every month or something like that. It's just like, and there's like 8 of them a day all over, you know what I mean? So, and I don't notice that with Iowa. I don't know how that was in
the Bay Area. Has a good scene. There's at least 2 or 3 shows going on every night.
Really? Okay. But are they only at the particular clubs that you guys have?
No, like they're everywhere.
Oh, really? Okay.
So like
bars, restaurants, all that kind of stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Like what's great about New York is you guys have space. Like it's ironic because New York is known for not having space, but like you guys do actually have like these art spaces.
I was gonna say there's a ton of like performance spaces and stages.
That's what I meant. Yeah. Like the real estate is at a premium, but there are plentiful of performance spaces. So everywhere I go, because I'm looking to start a show of my own, right?
I was gonna say, because hey, I'm not getting past at so and so place, and they already have these reputations. I'm just like, why don't you just start your own show?
Yeah, I mean that's what I want to do, so that you have something to offer people.
Right. Actually, I've heard that too, where people are like, hey, sometimes people will just start a show just so they can get booked on someone else's shows.
Exactly.
Just like,
you have to have like some kind of capital. Like if you don't have name recognition, you need to have like a show to trade, because otherwise people are only so nice. Like, people are definitely like good. Like New Yorkers, I find to be very nice.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. It's like this reputation like they're hard or whatever. It's like, no.
Just at the open mics.
Well, like they're just uninterested at open mics.
Well, yeah, because think about it. If you're going to like 3 shows a night is cool, but like how about 3,000 a night here? It's like at some point you just burn out. You're like, dude, I've heard this version of this joke. I've heard blah, blah, blah. It's just like, you really got to wow me.
Well, the open mic is the grind in the most pure sense of the word, because you're waiting an hour and a half to do 3 minutes out here. And you don't even know when you're going up. In the Bay Area, we don't have the bucket system. The lottery system is to sign up. So you get there, you sign up, and you go. So you know when you're going up, as opposed to.
And how many people per sign up?
Maybe like 30 to 40.
Okay.
So it's like, it's not too different from what goes on out here.
Gotcha.
But with the lottery system, yes, it seems more fair, but then you're open to the paranoia that it might be rigged for in somebody's favor. But it's fine, It's like, this is New York system. I don't know why it's like this, but I'm not here to criticize it. It's just different.
Right.
So at least when it's a sign up, and some places do out here have sign ups, when you're going up, when to like not pay attention, when to be in the room and then leave.
I mean, I could debate the pros and cons of the sign up sheet too, because like, for example, I can't tell you how many times I'll get to a spot, and granted, a lot of this has to do with me being new too, and like not knowing which mics operate in which ways, which ones have a cutoff at 20, which ones haven't updated their freaking freemics.com post in years. So like, I'll show up for a sign up and it's like, we go in order, and you're 20th of 22. I'm like, God damn it. You know what I mean?
Right. But like, if you're going 20th of 22, you can like leave.
So another con I would say to that, so the pro is, you can leave and like, not pay attention or whatever. But then the con is the person that's going 3rd, 4th, 5th, like you're not paying attention. So I kind of want you to pay attention. But, ultimately, like you said, funny is transcendent. So if you can establish yourself as like a funny person, then people will want to stick around to see you. Because I know comics like that I routinely see at open mics where I'm like, I really want to catch his act. I think he's a funny guy. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't have a good fix, man.
No, nobody. This is just
it's just what it is.
There's no other way around it. It's like the both systems are flawed, but there's just no other way around it, because it's not like music where you can practice alone in your room until you have something to show up to, and it's good, and you just have to do this.
I get so jealous of musicians. The more I do comedy, the more I get jealous of musicians. I'm like,
or any other artist.
Yeah, anybody but us. We suck. Yeah.